Yeah.
But when do you feel that? So you feel like they went from the Pleiades to Orion, or the Pleiades? When did you think they? How long do you think they were able to live at Nibiru? Because obviously their planet was dying, right?
Yeah. So
So
this is
what?
a
How do
real
you?
ancient
You know, because
story.
I've always had an issue connecting the dots there. So give me
Yeah.
your.
Yeah. So they started with a really ancient story. So the Pleiades first, which the Pleiades it's 7 stars or 7 sisters, but however, there are really thousands of stars in that part of the sky. We can only see 7 on a clear dark night. We can only see 6 now on a clear dark night because one of the stars ran out of fuel. But that they have planets orbiting those stars, and people were living on those planets. Probably it's been repopulated by now. A war broke out. That war was so deadly, they were using weapons that were destroying moons and destroying planets. The people who had the capability to flee, they fled. They became space refugees. They fled that region of space. They settled in planets orbiting Orion, planets orbiting Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, planets orbiting Aldebaran, planets orbiting Sirius A, B, and C, planets orbiting a brown dwarf star, and in particular one of those planets orbiting that star, they gave it the name Nibiru. So Nibiru originally, very long time ago, was part of a breakaway civilization. And all these other inhabitants in all these other places, again, breakaway civilizations. Earth just happened to be another one of the breakaway civilizations as a result of these space refugees.
Well, that makes that kind of makes sense, because when you read the Sumerian text, Billy, they talk about I don't know, I think it was the first Anunnaki king, or the head Amalu, he came searching for gold. He had to search through the asteroid belt and looked at the other planets, right? Mm-hmm. So they didn't know the solar system completely, correct?
No.
When they first came here, they were trying to find gold, so they had to go search and find it. So it seems like they did come from another, not galaxy, but from another solar system or area, like you said, or stars. And then there was the Galactic Wars, right? So that's where we get a lot of our Star Wars scripts, right? You talk a lot about that Star Wars. Yeah. It's really a story of these Galactic Wars. Is that not?
Fact. There's a paper called the Terra Papers. That's a Hopi, indigenous Hopi tribe ancient text. And the Terra Papers read just like Star Wars. Matter of fact, George Lucas most likely got his hands on a copy of this a long time ago and turned it into a $1 billion franchise. It literally has a Republic. It has the Jedi. It has the Orion Wars. It has everything is in the Terra Papers, which is pretty crazy. He turned it into nobody, hats off to him. Nobody knew it existed. He made it into a movie, a series, which is incredible. And all the other ancient texts, again, they all are giving small pieces of the story. The Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, big time wars. They have a weapon in the Mahabharata that was used in space. It was called the Brahmahama Astra. And this weapon was so powerful, it can destroy or kill any man on 3 planets. You're talking about planetary destroyers. You're talking about Death Stars. This is the kind of war. The people wrote in some of the texts that they would look up in the sky, the humans, and they would see megalithic cities battling in the sky. They're talking about UFOs shooting at each other, and they depicted these drawings of things moving back and forth across to penetrate each one of the sky cities. So we're talking about some crazy times. Then you have the Rig Veda, the Battle of the 10 Kings, which took place in space. It's no wonder why we're a warring race right now. We have their same genetics in us. And so in some way, because we're intrinsically connected to them, we're always doing this war stuff down here on this planet as well. It's wild.
Yeah, that's really, really, really good stuff. The pyramids, when people first studied the pyramids, and the Egyptians and the Egyptologists, they said it was a chamber, a tomb. But we know it's much more than that. We know now it's an energy device, and it's a power center. Mm-hmm. And so how do you feel like technology wise, the ancients used those pyramids to advance their agenda, basically? Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously they had to create tremendous amount of energy and power. And we're going to talk about the halls of Amenti and sarcophagus as well. Yeah. But kind of give us some perspective on that.
Yeah, so they were masters at brick masonry. They discovered something really interesting, something that has been holding us back. Let's say we had the capability, we meaning human beings, to travel to Mars and other places. the biggest problem is why it hadn't happened yet. Not that we don't have the technology to get there. It's like, how do we survive there, right? Even though I believe we're already on Mars in some habitats, but I'm just thinking hypothetically. Let's think objectively. We go to a planet. We have to have shelter. We have to have all these things, these creature comforts to make us stay alive. These people figured out if you go to a planet, you can't build a factory and then have employees come into the factory and make everything you need. It's just not going to happen. So what you need to do is understand how to utilize the actual stuff on the planet and make those things into machines, but not just regular machines that can stand the test of time. So they took stone, they turned stone into computers, astrological and astronomical devices, and also power generators. They mastered the art of turning stone into machines that are solid state, SSD. If you have a computer nowadays, you have an SSD. Your phone is SSD. That means a solid state drive. There's no moving parts. They mastered this.
We saw that at one of the temples with Muhammad Abraham. He said that this is a power. What did he say that was? The one temple where it was a generator of power, and it was like a giant computer. And he showed us all the different stones that were cut and how it would work. That was truly unreal, actually. To see that they'd make these giant things like that, and then you see the different writings and how they did it. And then when you go there, you know that there's we can't even build this stuff today.
No.
So that's pretty cool. So let's move a little bit. I know we want to talk a little bit about the halls of Amenti and sarcophaguses and the energy of the pyramids. I think the energy of the pyramids relates to the sarcophagus and the halls of Amenti. But talk a little bit about, Thoth talks about this and how the Anunnaki are connected with the halls of Amenti and these sarcophagus.
In the Emerald Tablets, he talks about having one of the halls of Amenti underneath the Great Pyramid Complex. And it looks like Armando May and Filippo Biondi discovered it with their SAR scan from the satellite. They gave the telemetry of the Giza Plateau to the satellite. The satellite did a SAR scan, 10 gigahertz with bandwidth scan. It came back with a vibrational scan that then was sent to a computer, and it gave us and pinpointed all the empty and solid spaces, which gave us an image for the first time about 2 miles beneath the plateau. We found megalithic openings, gigantic columns going down for miles.